Konrad Styner, Doctor of Medicine. Tonight's story has the title, If Tomorrow Be Sad.
Guardian of birth, healer of the sick, comforter of the aged. And the qualities of the worthy physician are three: the eye of an eagle, the heart of a lion, the hand of a woman.
Say, this enterprising young shopper thinks she's helping Mother. And oddly enough, she is, because little Susie has just discovered the most remarkable wash day development in ages. Look at that package, Mother. That's Oxydol in that bright new package. New Oxydol. Now, read what it says.
Oxydol, new detergent containing color-safe oxygen bleach. Bleaches as it washes.
Yes, behold the wonderful new Oxydol that's just out. The only leading detergent that contains its own bleach. You don't add separate bleach, no ma'am. Oxydol actually bleaches as it washes. That's it. Thanks to Susie, your next wash will be the greatest. Only this new Oxydol gets clothes detergent clean and bleach white and helps remove stains as no other suds can, all in one simple operation. Fine for colored washables. It's color safe. Keeps dresses lovely. Fine for all your clothes. So start getting lovely bleach white washes every time with new Oxydol containing color-safe oxygen bleach. It bleaches clothes white as it washes them clean. Now, new Oxydol brings you Medic.
Our actual case history tonight concerns the field of neurology, science of the human nervous system. The object in point, a judgment of divorce. The case in point, Winifred Lochner, age 26, married, no children. Her husband's an automobile salesman. Winifred's a photographer's model, quite a successful one. Her face and her figure, plus a lot of hard work, have carried her to a top position in her profession. She's at the peak of her career. But she's not destined to remain there much longer. The cause of her downfall? A question mark. A vague enemy, unseen, unknown.
Hold it, Win. Good. That's fine, Win. Take 10, will you? Jim, will you move those two lamps over for me?
Okay, Bob.
Say, Bill, come over here with me and take a look at these layouts, will you?
Will, there's something wrong, honey? Don't you know, is anybody watching? No, it's all right. Oh, what's the matter? You feeling funny again? It's my eyes. I can't see. Everything's black. I can't see a thing.
Winifred Lochner has experienced many such sudden and apparently unexplainable attacks. The first onslaught was launched some 10 years before, deep in the complex mechanism of Winifred Lochner's body. The signs were only minor at first, occasional, indefinable. A ringing in the ears, a crawling, itching sensation in the legs that lasted a day or two, then disappeared. And as time went on, there were other signs, a transient pain in the back, faulty vision, a sense of overwhelming fatigue which came without warning. One day she might feel on top of the world, and the next only half alive. Time went on. The numb feeling in her left leg came more often, became more pronounced. But it did not remain. For 10 years, the signs came and went, each time a little stronger, a little more severe. Winifred Lochner weathered them all.
Well, there's my doll now. Thought you'd never get home. How are you, sweetie?
Hi, honey.
Say, you seem a little dragged out. What's the matter? Rough session today?
Oh, just hold on to me a minute, please.
Oh, well, come on now. Tell your loving old husband all about it. Can't have the prettiest wife in town dragging around, can we?
Well, it happened this afternoon, Eddie. I had another one of those funny attacks. It was at Kennedy's studio. Everything went black. It lasted nearly 2 hours. I tell you, I couldn't see a thing. I was blind.
Blind? Oh, come off it, will you, kid? I tell you, it's all in your mind. Every week there's something new. Now, snap out of it, huh?
I'm telling you the truth, Eddie. I couldn't see.
All right, so maybe you couldn't. You can see all right now, can't you? Hysterical. That's your trouble. It's high time you straighten up, kid.
Well, if you don't believe me, you can ask Stella Peterson. She was working with me.
I don't have to ask Stella. I've seen you in and out of this for 5 years, more than that, as a matter of fact. 1 week, your foot goes dead. Then you have a backache. Then your ears ring. Then you're dizzy. Look, some days I don't feel so good myself, but you don't hear me moaning about it, do you? Now snap out of it, huh, Win? I'm getting pretty tired of this routine.
All right, I'm sorry I mentioned it.
Oh, look, hon, I don't like to be rough on you, but sometimes the way you get, I have to. You just can't seem to get it through your mind that there's nothing wrong with you. You've been down to see Dr. Brooks I don't know how many times. Nothing ever comes of it. Guess you went down to see him again today, huh?
No, by the time I called him, it had gone away. I made an appointment in the morning.
Okay, great. Now, just promise me one thing, sweetie. When you see Doc Brooks tomorrow, let's make it yes or no, huh? Is there something wrong or isn't there? Let's settle this thing once and for all. Okay?
All right. I'll go fix dinner. Made some stew this morning before I left. It's the kind you like. Why don't you fix yourself a drink? I'll have it ready in a minute.
Stew? Oh, I don't know. I feel like a steak tonight, don't you? Hey, let's go down to Adolph's. What do you say? Get a nice top sirloin. Well, anyway, I got to see some buyers in from out of town. Like to have them meet you. See what a beautiful wife I've got. Anyway, it never hurts to butter them up a little.
I'd rather not. I'm a little tired, Eddie, if you don't mind.
Come on, beautiful. The fresh air will do you good. Get out, move around. Best thing in the world for you. Hurry up. We'll be able to catch the 10:30 floor show.
I'll get my coat. I want the truth, Doctor. I have to know.
Under the circumstances, I think you should know. There's every indication you have a disease of the central nervous system, Mrs. Lochner. It's called multiple sclerosis. It's nothing to get panicky about. By the same token, it's nothing you can ignore.
Multiple sclerosis. I've heard about it, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Well, actually, it's not too difficult to explain. You see, the various nerves in your body are surrounded by a kind of insulating material. It's a fatty substance called myelin. And this myelin insulates the nerves the same way that a telephone cable is insulated with rubber or other materials. In multiple sclerosis, for some unknown reason, this insulating substance around the nerves disintegrates. This myelin is destroyed at several points, and scars are formed in its place. That accounts for the name of the disease. Multiple, many. And sclerosis, scarring, or hardening of.
Well, then it's the scars left on the nerves that cause the trouble.
In essence, that's about it. If a number of scars are formed along a certain nerve stem, and these scarred areas are severe or extensive enough, then the impulses transmitted from the brain along this nerve to a particular part of the body are obstructed.
But it's been 9 years since it started. First the dizziness, then my legs, then the pain in my back, then my eyes. I asked you for the truth, Doctor. You're a neurologist. You should know. What's going to happen to me?
I wish I could tell you, Mrs. Lochner. I can't. You've contracted a disease, Mrs. Lochner. It's serious, but not hopeless. There are 2 ways to face it. You can refuse to let it get the best of you, and possibly you can beat it down. Either that, or you lay back and let it beat you down to the ground. Either way, it's up to you. It's all in your hands.
Well, that's about all of it. The only reason he didn't tell me before was because he just couldn't be positive what it was, and, well...
But he's positive now.
Yes,
Is that
he
it?
is. He had another doctor in for consultation, a neurologist, Dr. Steele. He agreed with Dr. Brooks, multiple sclerosis.
Maybe they made a mistake. They could be wrong, you know.
Oh, they're not wrong, Eddie. Dr. Brooks waited a long time to tell me. The only reason he did now was because he thought it'd help me get along better. I mean, knowing the truth.
So now what? What happens now?
I don't know. I may have more attacks. I may not.
The chances are you will. Only they'll be worse than ever. Isn't that what you said?
It's possible.
It can hit you anywhere. Your arms, your legs, maybe both. You can be paralyzed.
It could be. It could happen again in my eyes or my hearing or my speaking. I might even lose control of my bladder. Is there anything else you'd like to know? Eddie? Is there something you want to tell me?
Look, Win, this isn't simple. I mean, this is a big thing. I mean, if you're paralyzed, unable to move, you won't be able to do a thing. Well, let's use the old head. Let's be logical.
What are you trying to say?
I'm only saying let's be sensible, logical. Let's be adult about this thing. You're bedridden. I couldn't look after you all the time. You know how I hate to be around sick people. I can't stand it. You know that.
I know.
All right. It's a weakness. So I'm weak. This is the way I am. I can't help it. Everybody's got a weakness. Think what it'd be like if you were laid up in bed all the time. What kind of marriage is that? It isn't fair to either one of us. It's only logical.
Why don't you say it? You want out, you want a divorce.
Now, wait a minute. Don't be unfair. I didn't say that. Maybe just a separation. We'll see what happens. It's the best thing for both of us. You can see that, can't you?
You sure that's what you want?
It's not what I want, sweetheart. It's the only honest thing to do. It's only logical.
All right. Wish you'd leave right now. I'll send your things over to your mother's in the morning.
Now, look, there's no use being bitter about it.
Get out, Eddie. Right now, just get up.
All right, if it's the way you're gonna take it. I was only trying
Will you get out?
So ends one of the darkest days in the young history of Winifred Lochner. And for a moment, the realization is overwhelming, almost too much to bear. Not only must she face a future dark and most uncertain, but she must face it alone. After 2 weeks of brooding alone in her apartment, Winifred Lochner finally emerged to take up her professional career where she left off. She made up her own new formula for living as a multiple sclerotic. A formula composed mainly of mistrust, bitterness, self-pity, and resentment. She was out to show her husband and the rest of the world that despite her suffering, she could carry on alone. She wanted no one. She asked for nothing. Seemingly to prove her point, she drove herself harder than ever, contrary to urgent recommendation from her physician, Dr. Brooks, that she have adequate physical rest, mental relaxation, and an adequate diet. Advice that applies to all persons, especially those afflicted with multiple sclerosis. Weeks passed, then months. Very often at the end of a busy work day, she found she could scarcely drag herself home. Nevertheless, she kept driving herself. She had a point to prove. In November, some 9 months after she learned the nature of her illness, 9 months since the last severe attack, which left her temporarily blind, Winifred Lochner experiences a comparatively mild seizure, which affects her arm and portions of the left side of her body. Dr. Brooks first conducts a neurological check to determine the severity of the attack. Although there is still no one specific thing a doctor can do to halt the progress of multiple sclerosis, it is possible to manage the symptoms to some extent and possibly retard a relapse. Occasionally, certain anti-spasm drugs and stimulants have seemed to afford temporary relief to some patients. However, it must be remembered that the results may be influenced by actual remissions or by the patient's optimism and intense desire for a cure. But it's quite evident to Dr. Brooks that as a result of his patient's attitude toward her illness, she's ignored basic rules of health, which so often tend to aid the multiple sclerotic in coping with the affliction. He impresses on her once again the vital importance of adequate diet and avoiding both mental and physical strain. But the best medical advice from the finest physicians in the world means nothing at all if the patient sees fit to disregard it. Such was the case with Winifred Lochner. After 5 days' rest at home, the numbness in her left arm and side all but disappeared. And 2 weeks later, she was back working under the same heavy schedule, still determined to prove her point. In one sense, she was proving it. With modeling agencies and fashion photographers, she became more and more in demand. Her career advanced rapidly. Prominence, luxury, acclaim, they seemed only a matter of time.
Most of the damage seems to be centered in your left leg, Mrs. Lochner. We won't have a detailed picture until we run the various neurological tests. We'll start first thing in the morning.
But my right arm's numb. I can't feel a thing. Is it going to be permanent?
I really can't say. After the tests tomorrow, we'll evaluate your disability. After that, a physiotherapist will chart a special series of daily exercises for you. You see, sometimes new nerves can be taught to take over the functions of the disabled nerves.
Doctor, how can I exercise them if I can't even feel them?
It won't happen overnight, but believe me, you are going to move that arm and leg yourself.
I guess I've been pretty stupid about this thing, haven't I? Forget everybody. Hate everybody. I was the only one who mattered. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing. Well, you may not believe it, but it really helped at the beginning. About time for a change, wouldn't you say?
I'd say so. You can live on bitterness just so long. Then you have to look for something better.
The following day, in an effort to determine the exact nature and extent of damage to the patient's nervous system, a spinal tap is made as well as various other neurological examinations. To date, no single blood or urine or spinal fluid tests, no X-ray or other special machines have been devised which clearly reveal the presence of multiple sclerosis and or the nature of a specific attack of MS. This is one of the great problems which medical science is now working to solve. In a case of multiple sclerosis, the attending physician cannot depend on the patient's description of symptoms or even what he himself can immediately observe. He must look for certain neurological signs, such as increased or abnormal reflexes, and determine whether or not these signs are valid evidence of damage sustained from a specific attack in a patient afflicted with MS. In order to forestall stiffening of muscle fibers in the affected areas, the multiple sclerotic patient is started on a program of therapy as soon as possible. This is one of the first and most important steps in rehabilitating those afflicted. An important element in the therapy program is muscle retraining, to stimulate damaged but still useful muscle to the limit of its possibilities, and more important, to stimulate the use of other unused muscles so that they can take over the function of those muscles which are impaired. Specific special exercises and training in the activities of daily living, walking, eating, drinking, and dressing, can frequently mean the difference between a completely disabled patient and one who has a good degree of self-sufficiency. Another important element is stimulation of the patient's motivation. For the way the patient feels, hopeful or despairing, cheerful or depressed, will definitely influence his progress. In any disabling disorder, mental attitudes play an important general role in physical improvement or impairment. In disorders of the nervous system, mental factors may play an even more specific part. Unresolved tension and anxiety, for example, can result in increased spasticity or muscle stiffness. Suitable activities which serve both mind and body play an integral part in the program of rehabilitation. They stimulate interest in outside activities which may have lapsed, and at a time when it's most needed, they give the patient courage and confidence to make full use of his potential abilities.
Come in.
Hi.
Hi, Sal.
Oh, look how wonderful.
Is the housing problem settled?
Oh, everything's set. Worked out perfectly. Katie Harrington's taking my apartment, so I can move in with you anytime after the 1st of next month. That's when you're supposed to be getting out, isn't it?
Uh-huh. That's wonderful, Stell. It'll make it so much easier. I couldn't think of going back to that awful old big apartment all by myself.
Oh, I don't blame you. Oh, here's your mail.
Oh, thank you.
Take a look at these calls if you need a lift. Looks like every agency in town wants you for a job. As far as I can see, you're going to be booked solid as soon as you're ready for it.
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to make it, but it's nice to know they want me, isn't it?
Oh, nice nothing. You know this modeling business better than that. Either you've got it or you haven't. You've been around long enough to know that. What's the matter, honey? Is it bad news?
No, it's nothing. It's from Eddie's lawyer.
How about that? There must be an appropriate line for an occasion like this. I wish I could think of one.
It's all right, Stell. I've been expecting it. A few years ago, it would have mattered. It doesn't anymore. It's almost like it happened overnight. Something gone, something new. Everything's changed. It's new. I like it. Everything's new.
So it is after months upon months of therapy, exercising limbs which have no sensation, tedious bending, twisting, turning, day after day forcing life back into muscles that seemed hopelessly dead. Finally and at last, still hopeful, still determined, Winifred Lochner knows once again the great blessing of standing alone and walking alone.
There's just one thing I wanted to speak to you about before I run along. About your modeling. Make up your mind about that yet?
I'll do enough to pay for the groceries, and that's about all. I've learned my lesson. Don't you worry about that.
I meant to ask you, that idea I spoke to you about last week at the hospital. I mean, joining the multiple sclerosis group. Given that any more thought?
I forgot to tell you. The secretary of the local MS Society called me yesterday. We're going to have lunch on Monday. I don't know much about it, but it sounds quite interesting.
Oh, that's quite a story. Ever since the National MS Group was founded, they've started special clinics, therapy, rehabilitation programs, things like that. Doctors, nurses, technicians, they've all pitched in to help.
Well, how do I fit in? What can I do to help them, and what can they do for me?
It works on the same principle like Alcoholics Anonymous. By giving, you receive. You help others, you help yourself.
I see. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, it's helped thousands of young people all over the country. I'm sure it'll help you. Well, I must rush off. Let's get to the office. Goodbye, Mrs. Lochner.
I wish I could find the right words to tell you how I feel.
Words aren't important, believe me. You just take care of yourself.
Win, you here?
Hi, you're early.
Oh, you bet I am. Hello, Doctor.
Good afternoon.
Your big day today, honey. You made it. You're queen of the May.
What do you mean? What are you talking
Oh,
about?
Willie Morgan tipped me off. He's on the awards committee. You'll get one of these in the mail tomorrow. Look at it. Model of the Year, the American National Award. Oh, you can't do any better than that.
It can't be. I mean, it's silly. It must be some sort of mistake. Well, it can't be me.
There's no mistake. You're it. You deserve it. I hope you stick to your new schedule.
Well, don't worry about that. I know those rules backwards and forwards. Realize your limitations. Don't let anything get you down. Live one day at a time. Meet tomorrow when it gets here.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Academy, honored guests, the President's Committee of the American National Academy of Fashion is pleased to present the Model of the Year, Winifred Lochner.
This vagrant stream of light between night and night, let me keep it bright today. And if tomorrow be sad or never come at all, at least I've had today.
Now Medic's joint sponsor, the makers of General Electric light bulbs. How would you like to be lying in the sun right now? There's just nothing like a beautiful tan to make a woman more appealing, and any man look his masculine best. Few of us can get away to sunny beaches just now, but there is a way that many can lick old man winter. If you tan under the summer sun, you'll want to use this economical General Electric sun lamp. You can use a General Electric sun lamp anywhere in your home. Living room, bedroom, bathroom. Just put it into an ordinary light bulb socket and use it only a few minutes a day. Keep the whole family looking its best this winter with the small, handy, easy-to-use GE sun lamp. Buy a General Electric sun lamp tomorrow. Only $9.95 at your General Electric lamp dealers. Just follow the simple instruction booklet in the package. Look to General Electric to brighten your life. This little man is apparently lost. His wife sent him on this shopping expedition, never dreaming he'd stumble on the greatest wash day development in years. What's this? By George, what's happened to Oxydol? New package. Nice. Read it.
Oxydol, new detergent containing color-safe oxygen bleach. Bleaches as it washes.
New Oxydol, just out. The only leading detergent that contains its own bleach. You don't add separate bleach. No, ma'am. Oxydol actually bleaches as it washes. Take it home to the little woman. Only this new Oxydol gets clothes detergent clean and bleach white and helps remove stains as no other suds can, all in one simple operation. And for colored washables, it's color safe. Start getting lovely bleach white washes every time with new Oxydol containing oxygen bleach. It bleaches clothes white as it washes them clean. Medic was brought to you by Oxydol. Tune in next week.